Hi, my name is Bailey Baumgartner, and today I will be answering a couple of questions about what I think education is, the purpose of it, and just kind of my thoughts as I want to be a teacher. So the first question is, what is the purpose of education? So I think that the purpose of education is to prepare students for life. It's to teach kids what happened before they were born to give context to the present, and it's so that they can change the world for the better. In a more practical, everyday sense, the goal of education is to help individuals live well. It would be to help them be creative, intuitive, knowledgeable, and reasonable additions to society. And another component of this is to help children be able to do whatever they want when they grow up, as education can and does improve opportunities for jobs and opportunities for a wealthier life. So the second question is, what is your role as a teacher? So my role as a teacher is to encourage the growth of my students in a holistic way. It's to push them just a little more than what they think they're capable of, and it's to make them think deeply and to provide an example of someone who cares about others. Most of my teachers were really cool and have been super inspiring to me as I continued school and life and continued my path as wanting to be a teacher. I hope to be like those teachers who welcome those students, make them feel valued, known, and able to accomplish whatever is put before them. And these are the teachers who pushed me to do more than I thought I could, even when I was strongly opposed to the homework they gave me. Actually, even now, I'm like, that was a lot of homework. Why'd you have to do that? So maybe that is something I will change as I become a teacher. I want my students to be able to do hard things, but not busy work things that require hours of homework each night. And this is because I want the holistic student, one who has friends, family, a hobby, and I don't want homework zombies who only have time for the assignments that I would give them. The third question is, how do students learn best, and what strategies will you use to guide their learning? So I think that different students learn in different ways. I want to be able to incorporate different learning strategies so that no student feels left behind. In general, I think students learn best when they are given space to think deeply and critically about their subjects. I really like the project-based learning because students have to think about a problem, do research about how to solve it. Hi, Matilda. Hi, Silly. This is my dog, Matilda. She's very cute. So kids can think about a problem, learn how to solve it, and then speak about it with some sort of visual art or presentation. It incorporates so many skills like thinking, speaking, writing, and creativity that I probably wouldn't get if I had just done regular homework assignments or regular tests. Number 4 is, how will you go about assessing learning effectively? So one thing that I really think is important is writing. I think that if you can write, you can think, and you can speak. I want to ask good questions that make students think to check learning. I think that asking content-related questions that require thought are super useful in assessing student learning, and it requires critical thinking that makes the content harder to forget. I also will want to check in on students on a daily basis to make sure I can answer any questions that they might have about a chapter, an assignment, or a homework question. Number 5, what would your classroom community look like? What classroom management strategies would you use, and why? So, I want my classroom to be filled with friends. I want my students to hang out with each other, ask each other questions, make memories, and have a good time being together in my classroom. Going along with wanting a classroom filled with friends, I also want a lot of laughter in my class. I want learning to be so fun. Maybe I could add a joke of the day or something to help foster a place where people know how to learn and know how to have fun. And to balance out all the fun that I plan to have, I also want my class to be able to focus. I want to have fun when it's time to have fun and focus when it's time to focus. I also want my classroom to be filled with creativity. I want there to be room for thoughts that are outside the box. I don't want it to be me talking all day, but I want my students to contribute their thoughts and ideas. Because I'm thinking about doing project-based learning, it will be a good segue into training creative minds. I want my class to be supportive one another, kind to one another, honest to one another, and respectful of not only one another, but also of the space we use and of me. If a student, for example, was not being very respectful of something, say the student was like, I don't know, messing with pencils, maybe breaking them, one management strategy I would try to use is distraction. So distracting the student away from what they're doing that's negative or that I don't want in class, with like a question about the content that I'm asking. So maybe if they're messing around over there, I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? And then they could be like, oh, I wasn't listening. And then maybe they could find an answer. I think that distraction would be my go-to, because yelling at kids or punishing them or telling them no immediately all the time can get really redundant. And when you distract a kid instead of confront them, it gives more of a sense of not coming down on them like a strict authoritarian who wants to make them miserable, but it helps convey that you care about them and that what we as a class are doing is super important. And I never want to raise my voice at a student or yell at a student. Say if there are continued problems, I will give a direct and firm no to whatever negative behavior they're doing, and hopefully they will stop. But if they continue, I will send them to the principal's office or to timeout or whatever the school policy calls for. Say if students aren't getting along, I want them to be able to figure it out and come to each other and be able to see eye to eye. Maybe I will have a conversation with both of them individually to help figure out why there is a problem and ask if there's anything that they could do to still be able to be respectful of each other. And even if they don't necessarily agree, that they can still treat each other well. I also may have conversations with the both of them to be a kind of mediator, to set boundaries, goals, and hopefully help them be able to hang out again, be able to be friends again. Number 6, how will you reach students regardless of their diverse backgrounds, cultures, and abilities? So I hope to know each student individually so I can teach them in ways that they learn best. I want to learn about my students to see what will work for them. When you get to know someone and you care about them, you are already reaching them and sending a message out there that someone cares about them and wants to help them. I think that in general this is true regardless of any background or culture. I also hope to tailor curriculum, class activities, and homework to the needs of the students no matter what background they come from. I want to keep parents updated and have good communication with them so that I can know their home lives better to give me insight on how to interact with their students. Okay, so final thoughts. I know I will be kept busy with all of my goals, but I know I will learn to manage all of my goals eventually. I'll probably need to add or drop a few because there's a lot in there, and I'm new, and I think that's okay. One thing I will need to keep in mind is that everything takes practice, so I can be patient with myself and learning how to be the best teacher I can be. And honestly, I'm super excited. Yeah, sweet, thank you.